in control against our Tosis debate and keep going back and forth.
That'll be easy.
More field stabilized. For the turn of the heat. We gotta move.
What is up, guys? Welcome to State of the Game. Sundance, I don't know what your camera was just doing. It is May 30th, 2013, and we're going to start things off a little bit different than we normally do here. Todd and Paul are today's guests, as well as Kaelaris. But this Sundance guy wanted to come on the show and talk about MLG and what's going on with them. So we'll get to all the news, but first off, Sundance, how you been, man?
Good. Trying to get stuff together for Anaheim, obviously.
Well, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Let's just start with that. Is StarCraft 2 going to be at MLG Anaheim?
Officially an answer yet. I was hoping to be able to. I'm waiting on a confirmation back, but I can tell you that people will be, 99% certain that people will be playing StarCraft at Anaheim. MLG as a company can't comment on it, but I will tell you, JP, that from what I can see, it'll be there.
Okay, I was expecting different news. So, what's going on with MLG Raleigh? You guys announced that that would not be happening earlier today. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So Raleigh is not happening because we had a 3-year economic incentive deal with that city that ran out. So we're off of that, and we've got 2 other locations for the rest of the year. The idea was, again, give Raleigh a shot. It was a developing town. We liked it. We had a couple of good years. Last year was
Uh-oh. Man, why does Sundance always have shitty connections?
That was going to be my first question.
You still there, Sonny? I think. Oh my god.
Wi-Fi didn't hold.
We lose him as soon as he goes out and tries to get a better connection. Yeah, apparently he's back at his house right now, and his Wi-Fi is acting up. It's acting a fool. Well, I guess at least we got confirmation that there will be StarCraft 2 at Anaheim. I think a lot of people were afraid of that. Sonny, you back?
Is that better?
Yeah, go ahead and just leave your cam off. I think that might have been what was pulling the most bandwidth.
Probably, because you know me and my cameras.
Yeah, I don't know what's... I should never invite you on these shows. I don't know why I keep doing this. So I think you were explaining Raleigh?
Raleigh. Okay. So Raleigh, we had a 3-year economic incentive program with the city that ran out. The first 2 years were pretty solid. Last year was a bit of a disappointment from an attendance standpoint. So we just didn't re-up. We've got a pretty familiar city that we'll be going back to, Southeast City, and then we're looking at a place we haven't been to in a while out in the West.
Interesting. So are you saying, I'm kind of going through the cities here. Are you thinking San Fran, Seattle? Can you give any hints?
No, something a little bit more desert-like.
Oh,
Arizona?
okay. Yeah, maybe Vegas, perhaps?
No. Can't do it.
All right. Paul or Todd, you guys have any questions?
No, not really. Just happy to hear that StarCraft's going to be part of the scene. That's always good news. I guess my question would be, if it's in a desert, we're not talking outside America, right? We're not talking like Dubai or something crazy.
No.
Well, that's good to hear.
It's going to be in the States. Don't worry.
All right.
Todd, do you have any questions? I got a bunch of follow-ups, but I'll toss it around here.
Yeah, first of all, I'm really happy that StarCraft will be at Anaheim. And can I ask why it wasn't sure in the first place? Because StarCraft 2 is the sickest game, you know that, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the game. Yeah, so we're just trying to finalize some things with Blizzard on StarCraft. Obviously, WCS is a big focal point for them. So that's all. I mean, I personally am pretty sure we'll get the deal locked in today. It's just we can't officially announce it until that's done. But the plan again is to have our standard events. I mean, we're a little late to announcing most of it just because of the fact that we were trying to get all the pieces in place, and as usual, a little bit of a clusterfuck at the end. But we'll get there hopefully today, and everything will be out in public.
How much will this kind of play into the WCS season? Is there going to be points? Is that something that you will bring forth in the announcement?
Yeah, I'm not again because it's not officially done, but the full plan will be announced, and it'll make sense to everybody once it comes out in terms of if there is any WCS linkage, it'll be spelled out in the announcement once it's official. Again, barring there's always a 1% chance, right? But we're going forward with the idea that it's going to be there as of today. In my mind, I mean the company hasn't committed to it because we're waiting for the deal to be closed, but it should be done today. If something blows up, then we'll see. But right now, we have a plan in place which makes sense with the WCS in mind, and just with kind of this current structure and what's happening. So again, it's just a little later than we'd like for all sorts of crazy reasons.
Can you speak to the fact of will KESPA be involved in any way? Are they helping out? Is there going to be any special events at this, or will it just be a normal standard MLG invite only tournament? Is there going to be open bracket? Can you give me any details?
I can't give you any details.
Okay, fair enough. Can you let us know when to expect something like this? Are we thinking end of week, next week?
In terms of what, the announcement?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hopefully it'll be tonight.
Okay. So tonight it won't just be a confirmation that it's 100% there. There'll be an actual press release coming out.
Well, the minute we've got everything lined up, I mean, Katie's, she's going to kill me for being on your show, but Katie's going to have everything out for everybody to take a look at. I mean, the plans have been baked for a while. It's just a question of getting final sign off.
Okay.
So again, it's late, and so I've been getting all kinds of happy StarCraft 2 fans sending me messages all over the place. But we're going as fast as we can, literally doing everything we can to get it out there.
All right. Well, Todd, Paul, do you guys have any final questions? I know Sonny had to go here pretty soon, but he just wanted to hop on.
No, I just just keep doing what you're doing. Again, Sundance. It's been a while since I've spoken to you, but I think we both know how tough it is putting these big events together.
Yep, and hopefully, like I said, MLG will have an official statement today or tomorrow on it. And just waiting on the pieces to come together. And I think everybody, it'll be a solid event with whatever we have there. But we're excited to do what we always do.
Awesome. Todd, any final questions?
No, I'm just happy StarCraft will be at Anaheim, and I hope you have StarCraft in all your future tournaments for the many years to come.
Yep. Well, we certainly do as well.
All right, Sonny, we'll let you go. I know you said you were waiting on a call, so thank you for coming on and kind of clarifying everything and hopefully satisfying people with your answers. So we all look forward to the news either tonight, tomorrow, or next week.
Okie doke.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Later.
All right, guys, so we're going to take a quick break here and bring Kaelaris in. Should not take longer than a minute. So we will be right back. State of the game coming up. More State of the Game coming up right after this. All right, guys, welcome back to State of the Game. Quick switcheroo. Do need to fix some webcams here, but this is the normal show, so we're done with that. I'm glad to hear that StarCraft 2, of course, will be at MLG Anaheim, 99% confirmed. We all look forward to the details. I was honestly scared. I honestly thought that StarCraft 2 would not be there. I thought that's why he wanted to come on the show. A lot of people were upset at me because I wouldn't tell them why he was coming on the show. I didn't know why he was coming on the show, guys. It's not.
Come on, everybody knows that you knew.
Everyone knows that I knew. Everyone knows, yeah, of course. So welcome to the show, Kaelaris. Glad you could be here.
Thank you very much.
Let's just go around the room. Paul, you just wrapped up a game which we should not mention here, unless we want to be pitchforked out.
No, you can mention it. It's all good. I've just finished. It's similar to StarCraft. I mean, it has a lot of tanks in it. So if you play Terran, then there's some similarities. Yeah, we just wrapped up the World of Tanks Pro League in Europe. So I'm jack of all trades, master of none.
There you go. What else have you been up to? I know you've kind of been finally getting into the whole ESL thing now. How's that switch gone? Now that you've been there for what, 4 months, 3 months here in the new year?
Crikey, let me know. For about 4.5 months now. Yeah. So yeah, it's been tough actually. Not because of anything else other than I'm ridiculously homesick and far more than I thought I would be. But I'm working through it, and having a ton of work helps. I have my first day off this month tomorrow, and that includes weekends. So it's been busy.
Jesus.
But that's a good thing for me.
Yeah. You guys, obviously all three of you, including Apollo, just wrapped up the WCS EU. We'll throw it to Kaelaris. What have you been up to besides doing the WCS EU stuff? Have you been primarily focused on that?
Yeah, mostly. Other than that, whenever I get home, I'm just playing games anyway, be it StarCraft, World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Ni no Kunai, just loads of every console, and just lots of games 24/7 basically.
Todd, it's been a week. How have you been, my friend? You just
I've been pretty good. I was really excited for the finals, and it went very well. To be honest, I was pretty nervous going into the finals because I had to do different stuff than what I did before with Kaelaris, which was like the analysis and some interviews. But in the end, I think it went pretty well. And again, I was lucky to work with people like Paul, giving me good directives and stuff. It's not just because he's here, but they make it very easy to work with them, Carmack, Paul, because they've been in the business forever. And every time they give me instructions, as long as I listen to them, I know I'm going to be fine.
That is true. Paul's definitely one of the best ones out there. So before we
One
jump,
of the oldest.
well, that's for sure. I wasn't going to mention that. I'm glad you did.
I knew you wanted to make an old joke, so I just thought I'd do it for you, JP. Do it early on. Get out of
Look,
the way.
I want to start as friends, Paul, and then we can become enemies as the show goes on. So I'll make sure the
All
old
right,
jokes
fine.
get in there.
Good.
We had some breaking news come up before we even jump to the WCS EU recap. Lucifron and Vortex have joined Mouz Sports, and there's multiple quotes coming out. The Reddit post, of course, has joined Mouz Sports to form the strongest StarCraft 2 division in franchise history. On the website specifically, it says, are joining forces with Mouz Sports to form one of the most powerful RTS teams in modern gaming history. So I'll shoot to Todd. Do you agree with that statement?
I guess the lineup that they have for StarCraft now is the strongest it's ever been for their StarCraft team. If you look at it, they have Hazuab, Zero Marine, Hope, Illusion, Lucifron, Mana, and Vortex. So not all of their players might be in their best shape, but they are still all very good players who have accomplished a lot. So definitely, I think this is the strongest team they've ever had as far as StarCraft 2 goes. But then one of the strongest RTS team, I guess, outside of Korea, yeah, probably. But if you count Korea, I'm not sure because you got so many good Korean teams. So
Yeah,
I guess you can't really write like outside of Korea if you're gonna write a statement like this. So I guess their statement has some truth to it, and I think it's okay the way they phrased it.
Paul, I think you're probably one of the. Well, you always seem to bring up Vortex and Lucifron. I think you're big fans of both of them. Did you know about this coming on, and have you spoken to either of them, just how they're feeling about the whole announcement?
I didn't speak much to Vortex when he was over, but a little bit with Lucifron. I had no indication, if I'm honest, that they were going to move teams. I spoke to them last year, and about moving teams, and they seemed like they were both pretty happy. But then I think last year, what we have to remember is that around WCS Europe finals last year, they were both studying, and they were both very much, that's what we're going to do. We're going to study, we're going to do some StarCraft part-time, and then, of course, Lucifron now is pretty much full-time, so we probably should have seen it coming, to be fair. And I know Vortex is going to, still do study, but I think he's probably going to, depending on how well he does and how much practice time he gets and stuff. But Lucifron oddly said to me last weekend that things haven't changed that much for him, even though he's full-time now for StarCraft. What it actually means for him is that the time that he used to spend studying, he actually now spends relaxing. But that in turn has then made the gaming more enjoyable for him. So he's not really practicing any harder. He's not really playing any harder or playing longer. But I guess you could say he's probably working smarter or some kind of business cliche. But he seems very happy in himself, I have to say.
I'm kind of curious what is going to happen now to the Karate Esports Club, because I was reading through the press announcement and they didn't say anything about it. And I guess they shouldn't, because they obviously don't have any ties to that. But Kaelaris, have you heard anything? Is Karate still going to exist? What happens to all their sponsors? Do you know anything about it?
I haven't heard about Karate per se, but I have pretty strong affiliations with Mouz, if you want to, no.
Apparently it was just announced they are closing the StarCraft 2 team.
Oh.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Oh.
I missed that. I guess that was buried in Reddit. I was focused on the other stuff, but that's a shame. It's always bad to see something like that happen. But to be fair, they were, the only two members, as far as I can tell, is there was vPro and LoL, but they never really did anything, did they? They just got round of 64 and round of 32 in DreamHack.
Yeah, they're very decent players, though. Yeah, and also, I heard that Vortex will go full-time very soon. He tweeted it earlier. So that's pretty interesting. I think Lucifron and Vortex, they were getting very good results before. Now, if they both go full-time and they practice a lot, we might see them dominating again like they once did. And then really, I think you could say Mouz would be one of the strongest RTS teams out there when they already have players like Hazu, Mana. Hope is a very good and up-and-comer Zerg player. I've had the occasion, I played him occasionally on ladder, and I think not many people know him, but he's very good. Hero Marine as well. He performed very well before in his UK Masters, so I think they have a very good team, Mouz Sports. In team leagues, that's definitely going to help them a lot to have these two players on their roster. But I'm curious what happens to Karate team in the Acer Team Story Cup then, because they were taking part in this.
I think it's just Def wins.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The thing is that Mouz Sports have had their eyes. I don't know if they're going to kill me for saying this, but they've had their eyes on Lucifron and Vortex for quite a long time. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, who hasn't really? I think.
They make sense. If you look at all the top players in Europe and Korea right now, they've nearly all of them have got a top team. And whilst I don't want to put Karate down, they aren't considered to be, one of the world's biggest teams and well-sponsored teams that send players all over the world. Although they've done a great job with Vortex and Lucifron, you always felt like those two were missing a big team, a big historical team. So doesn't surprise me at all. And I think it's a really good fit for Mouz. They've needed two more, or at least one more really high-profile player to fit in their team, and there isn't many free right now that are out of contract or that are available at the right price. So I think this is a really good fit for both the players and for the team.
Taking a look real quick at their achievements, it is quite the list when combined with each other, even both on their own. But the two brothers definitely have a lot of wins under their belt, and I think under the Mouz Sports flag. Does Mouz Sports have a house located anywhere, or are the players still kind of all scattered about?
Just scattered.
Okay.
At the moment, yeah.
I wonder if that's something that maybe will change during the future.
You look at it, Mouz Sports are a German organisation, but the WCS is based out of Cologne. Wouldn't be a bad idea, would it?
It wouldn't be a bad idea. That's for sure. There's also always Korea. Everyone wants to go over there and train. I don't know if they need to anymore with WCS being a thing.
How about Mouz in the team leagues?
In which team league? In
Korean.
Yeah, they could definitely they could go over there. Who knows how well they would do? I think a lot of people are a little bit shocked when they actually go over into that world and see the practice and preparation that the Korean teams take for that. They could do it. I don't see why they could not, and it would definitely help them. Now that how long is WCS EU kind of on a quote unquote break? When does that whole season start up again?
25th and 26th of June.
That's not. They can't go to Korea, Paul. What are you talking about?
It's not the biggest of windows.
Yeah, it's not a big. It's not a big window.
It's
at
not
all.
a big. It's not a big window between season 1 and season 2. No.
Yeah. So, well, other than that, I mean,
I'm just playing. I'm just fantasizing that we might get a European team in a Korean league. That's all.
that's true. What the Koreans should do is form a super team and then go over there. That's what they should do.
You know what I thought would be cool? It's a really big tangent, but if like WCS EU winners, WCS Korea winners, and WCS America winners had like a team league face-off thing with 5 of each of them, that'd be cool.
5 All-Stars.
Yeah, like an All-Stars kind of thing, you know?
Well, if only there was a league around to do that.
Hey, wait. Hold on. I've got this cool idea.
Huh.
How about we take the top 5 from each region, right?
Oh god.
And we put them in a global final at the end of each season.
I know this was gonna be one of those British type jokes.
Yeah. I saw it coming
Oh
as
my
well.
god.
Bloody Paul.
If only.
No, wait, we're already doing that. Of course we are. God damn, Kaelaris. Got fired.
Oh
fired.
god. All right, let's move on. I think we're clear to just go ahead and move on to the. There was the news, of course, that Axiom Maya is retired. The official news that was leaked about a week and a half ago, I believe, by one of the Korean journalists, and Axiom was not too happy about that. There was a couple of drama Twitter posts about that. It always sucks when a team gets that kind of announced for them. Definitely a player. It kind of steals the limelight for them, but officially
Slasher?
announced. Do what? No, Slasher had nothing. Well, I guess you could say fuck Slasher, yeah, but
Yeah, fuck Slasher.
he had nothing to do with that one.
Fuck him anyway.
He had nothing to do with that one. But yeah, it is officially announced. You can go read more about it over at axiomesports.com. As a player, Maya, Todd, can you speak to that at all? How much does him leaving the game kind of affect the rest of the scene?
I think he has to go to Army, so not much he can do. That's my guess. I don't think any reason was mentioned for why he's quitting.
It just says
So-
after lengthy consideration, Maya has considered to not renew his contract with Axiom Esports and announce his retirement from StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I'm just gonna guess he has to go to Army, so it happens all the time. It's kind of sad to see a player as good as him having to quit now, but what are you gonna do?
It's very
Happens
true.
to boxer. Can happen to all of them.
Trying to see.
But usually they can delay it until very, very late. So I don't know how old it is.
But didn't boxer delay it like 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, and then even
Before he
when
had
he
to
went,
go
he was
serve.
like on the StarCraft team of the Army. So.
Yeah, I know.
Jenna's actually in the chat saying that he has already served. He's one of the oldest players. He wants to pursue other
Oh.
things. No harm in that. So
Okay.
I guess he is just kind of doing his own thing. So
Cool.
thank you for the clarification, Jenna.
The funny thing is, though, as this is another topic, is I was talking about this the other day. I can't remember who I was talking to, but we don't really know what the right retirement age is for an esports player or a StarCraft player yet. White Ra's 32. Drubby's just turned 27. Todd's like 43. So there's so many of the older guys now.
Can you
still
put a
playing,
number on
but
it?
No, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We haven't aged enough in esports yet to know when that retirement age is. So we're sort of learning as we go along. No one really knows.
It's true. I think the retirement age is when you're no longer making money. I think that might be the good retirement.
Yeah.
Well, or if you're on the good show, then you become a caster, right, Todd?
Okay. I think
Just ignore him. British jokes. Just ignore him.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
I
I'm not
guess-
trolling him, and he knows I'm not trolling him.
I think personally that when you start aging a little bit more, like say from 25, 26, it becomes much harder to play as much as when you're like 17, 18. When you're 17, 18, you don't care about anything. You can just play all day, all night. you would not think about anything else. But then from a certain age, I would say maybe even 23, 24, 25, from that age, it becomes harder to play a lot. And I don't think me or Nesty or White Track can play like 12 hours a day, many days in a row. It's very hard for us because we've been doing this for a very, very long time. And we're older, yes. So from that age, it's going to be harder to perform well. But I don't know, Nesty is doing decent. I'm doing decent as well, so who knows?
You guys are both doing great. I mean, if you're an older Korean, you just go and play in WCS America, then you're good for like another 5 or 6 years, right? That's what you do. That's the build order.
Where's Total Biscuit when you need him to defend honor and valor, eh? You're going to get such a hard time now, JP.
It's all right. He's got 4 Axiom players in WCS round of 8. He's okay. Potential to have, 3, sorry, to have in the round of 4 as well, so. He's doing just fine, Paulie. He doesn't need to argue with me whatsoever. But let's move on and talk about the WCS EU finals, which happened, of course, this past weekend. It has somewhat been talked to death, but I mean, we've got 3 of the main casters here. Of course, Paulo not on the show, but who cares is what I'm saying. We've got the main ones here. So MVP wins without he made it through the entire round of 8 with only a single map loss. The only one being, of course, to Stefano in the finals. Does that surprise you guys at all? Were you expecting that? Well, we'll start with Todd.
Yes and no, because when you see MVP go to a tournament, if you haven't seen much of him recently, I mean, he didn't have any real big success for a while, so you could be foolish enough to think that he might not do very well, or he might not reach the finals or not win, but then in the end, he always delivers, it seems. So, yes and no. I guess that's my answer here. I wasn't surprised that he did very well entirely, and it was very good to see him play. It's very, I guess you could say it's A game, because even listening to his interviews before the game, he didn't seem all that confident. He wasn't happy with his practice regime and stuff like that, so... yeah, it was pretty impressive to see him do that.
Kaelaris, for you, what was the most impressive match for him? Was there a single map that just stood out above all the rest?
For MVP?
Yeah.
Against Stefano in the final, or the entire...
Just the entire, maybe the entire tournament. Was there a single map where it was like, this is where he is he's playing his best? And if it's easier, you can start from the round of 8, the quarterfinals.
Well, I wouldn't say it was necessarily him playing his best, but that game against Damaga where he's holding off and he actually made me die from casting.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, like, I overloaded a bit during that game, but that game was really ridiculously impressive. Of course, there's always the dispute of why wasn't Damaga making Storm hosts against that. On Newkirk Precinct.
Albeit that he pretty much made every other combination that he could possibly think of before running out of ideas.
The Swarm host would have been a good idea, man, but I think that something that was really impressive to me in the finals, not necessarily from MVP, well, I think it was from MVP's side, was that the first game against Stefano looked ridiculously good in that first game, like so good, and then I kind of thought, wow, well, maybe Stefano's actually going to beat MVP here. It's going to be amazing. But that first game was just MVP kind of feeling Stefano out and trying to assess what he was going to do for the rest of the games, and then just played mech and killed him. There really wasn't much else to it. So, yeah, I was hoping Stefano would go a little further, but what can you do?
Paul, who are you rooting for here, and which player, being eliminated was kind of the hardest loss for you as a fan?
I think you probably have to say Damaga, really. I mean, he got swept aside, really, but he did it with such good grace. And humour and humility as well. I mean, he was very polite afterwards, but the guy never stops smiling, and he's you can't help but love the guy, even when he's losing and playing like a bit of a moron. You still think he's such a cool guy. He's sort of very much in the mould of White Ra, really, in that there's just nothing that he could make you do that would make him hate him, no matter how he played or how well or badly he played or even what he said. Sure. So yeah, he probably stands out. But I mean, I don't particularly have any favourites, but there are certain players I enjoy watching more than others. TLO in particular, I enjoy. I know a lot of people say he plays Cheese, but I'm a fan of Cheese. I like individuality. I like expression, and I like creativity. And you can't argue the kid comes with all of that and more. So I always enjoy watching his matches, mainly because you never know what you're going to get or which version of TLO you're going to get, frankly, either. I think he wasn't very impressive early on, but when he dropped down to the 5th place game, oh my God, his focus was so good. And he was just a beast, an absolute beast. So I really enjoyed those two, other than the fact that, Apollo, Kaelaris and I were sitting up in the casting room when the draw was made, after the draw was made, and we all looked at it and went, that'll be a classic if it's an MVP Stefano final.
That is very true. There was this picture of TLO that I think was definitely one of the most emotional photos we've seen so far in 2013. You could not have gotten any luckier with him, kind of saying hush in the background, and then just this look of sadness, pure raw sadness after the loss. But there's another tournament, like you said, of course, starting up in June, so he will once again return. The biggest news, I think, out of the weekend, even more so than the finals, of course, was the Widow Mine hit between 4GG and Stefano. For those that are living under a rock, this is, of course, what I'm referencing. It's been played a billion times, but it never gets old. And I also love the fact that, ESL and the production team over there went back and got the player reactions afterwards. You guys were on top of the game. Let's just take a look at that. This is just so much better. Pod, go ahead and talk us through it, Paul.
Just while you're enjoying that again, because we really enjoyed it in the studio. I was actually standing up watching one of the screens in the studio with the crowd, and when that happened, the crowd did a oh my God, it was like the whole crowd did it, and we all took a deep insert of breath, and because of that, the whole room had this weird kind of surreal moment about it, and then we saw the hit, and then it was just crazy. And I think we all felt like we'd seen something just ridiculous in that moment. I mean, the production thing you're seeing, we actually recorded 3 different sources onto one source, and it was recorded all day long. So at any point, if we felt like there was a really cool reaction, what we were trying to capture, and I'll admit this wasn't my idea, this was Carmac's idea. He and I, we fought a lot over WCS, but most of the stuff that you saw in it initially was either mine or his, or a collection of other people that came together to decide what went in. And we do fight like cat and dog, but this one he won, and he wanted to try and capture the emotions of players at specific points in the game, which had not really been done properly before. And I was skeptical because I felt that I'd watched a lot of StarCraft, and I never really see too much emotion from anyone when something extraordinary happens. They're usually very plain-faced. They're like poker players. They don't want to give anything away. But actually, there are small nuances, and you saw it in that Widow Mine self-kill.
Oh, those are some big nuances, Paul.
Absolutely. You saw the extremes in the 2 players, and that's what Carmack had a vision of. So the production guys set it up. We recorded the 3 streams all in one, so that at any point we could literally just dial the dial back and go from that point. And bit of genius from Carmack and the production guys. So
absolutely, we always see people. I can't think of a tournament, at least outside of Pro League, that has gotten the zoom-ins properly timed. They've had so much practice, of course, with Brood War.
Yeah. It's. I mean, again on that. I mean, they've had 8, 10, 12 years of practice doing that, and they still can't get it absolutely right because it is a difficult skill.
Sure.
Our production team are 6 months together, if not less, and there's no way we can expect them to just get that straight away. I think a lot of people have set the bar quite high with WCS EU, and people have sort of said, oh guys, you've done a great job, but there is still so much more to do. But the reason there's so much more to do, and I'm glad we've set a good bar, is because we're years behind and we're trying to play catch up in a very short period of time. So I think the message would just be, just be patient as well.
It's very true. It's very true. Todd, I'm going to throw to you as the Protoss player on the show. Baby Knight, opens up in the round of 8 against Stefano and gets 3-0'd. Is the only Protoss in the tournament. What are your thoughts? And what do you think about Protoss right now?
I was pretty sad. Obviously, I always want to see Protoss do well. So although it was against a French player, I would have at least liked him to win some games or to have a chance in those games. Except in the first one, he didn't really have a chance. But I know he watches these shows and he takes it very personally, but maybe not. You shouldn't take this personally. But I just think he didn't really make anything happen in those games. I like the original idea where he was getting the mothership and everything, but after that, he was always trying to go for the same thing, which was, again, a mothership, lots of color size, lots of stalkers, and it just doesn't work versus somebody playing the way Stefano played. You need to use more war prisms, you need to go for another composition with some Archon Zealot, you need to get in there. So I didn't really like the way he played, and that was pretty much it for the first series. And then when he played again later, he played against Lassifron and he lost 0-3 as well. But this time, I did think he played pretty well. But Lassifron just played really, really good that series.
Kaelaris, what do you think of Baby Knight's play over the weekend?
Well, I mean, the Baby Knight series I actually didn't really see too much because that was the one break I had. Because I cast everything else that was just TVZ all day.
I worked him to the bone, JP. I worked him to the bone.
Pretty much, man. But the weekend in general, like the Widowmine thing, for example, when I was casting that, initially, it didn't clock in my head what had happened. But I saw everything explode, and I was just like, this is amazing! And I just kind of kept going with that, and then 5 or 10 seconds later, it kind of clicked that there's Widowmines there. Oh, damn. All right. And then, there was something else I wanted to say. What Paul was saying about earlier, about the Pro League thing, in terms of like the player reactions and stuff like that, we've actually had conversations about that, haven't we, Paul, in terms of trying to kind of work something like that in. But you ideally need, a very, very good director. You need either a past pro or a commentator to be directing all that and stuff like that. And there's many, many times that I would love to just kind of go back into the production room, even when I'm not casting, and just be like, right, now is the time you show that guy, because there's nothing going to be happening in this section, but it would be nice to see this reaction, So
I think that is the problem. The complexities with modern TV, which is the production that we do it's just like TV back there. It's a monster control room. You need a good understanding, and not just a good understanding, actually a very good understanding of how production works. And you need to know StarCraft really well. So I don't know that guy necessarily exists, that guy that knows all the directors, TV, timing, and knows StarCraft well enough to be able to go.
Here, Paul.
I was waiting for Young to say something. I don't know. It's a really tough job. But I at some point this year I want to go out to Korea and just watch the Pro League guys and see what they do and how they do it, because that'd be really insightful. I think we could learn a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't even really mentioned Stefano except for the whole Widowmine incident. Once again, here's a guy that makes it into the finals of a tournament right after saying he's probably going to retire in August. How much do you guys know how much he prepared for this? He's always been one to say that he doesn't really prepare too much. He
prepared a lot. No, he prepared a lot.
Todd, Kaelaris, did you guys speak to him at all, or?
A little bit. I think, was it Carmack who tweeted that, or you, Paul, who tweeted that Stefano came in advance to Germany to practice just for this? And I think
yeah, he did.
I heard it say at least once that usually he's preparing very little for tournaments, but this was the one tournament like he prepared maybe the most for, or at least more than usual.
Yep, he told me personally when he came in that he. We always joke, because I always joke to him about it. How much did you put in? And he's like, I put in 1 hour. But actually, no, he did put in a decent shift. I think for him, it's probably more practice than he's ever had before a big tournament, because he wanted to do really well. He was really serious about it. I think he has some sort of special affinity with the WCS. I mean, after Europe last year, and he won the France event as well. Yeah. So I think he just feels like, if he's got to retire now and this is his time, then he doesn't want to go out as a faded star. He wants the people to remember who he was.
There was certainly a slightly different air about him at this tournament in comparison to previous tournaments I've seen him at. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Although I'm slightly worried because his tweet half an hour ago said to me, I think you crippled me. My hips hurt so much since you've thrown me on the floor. What?
What'd you do, Paul?
Well, you had a bump on your head, didn't you?
I had a bump on my head from Monday. I mean, I don't from Saturday. Sunday. I don't even remember.
You wrestled with Stefano?
I think maybe. Barcraft Cologne. That's all I can tell you.
Oh God. Well, it's good to know that Stefano hasn't changed. Apparently,
He's great. He's great fun, but he did. I mean, I remember we went out to Korean barbecue on a Friday night, and usually we would sit there and chat, and he would have a few beers, and we'd have a few laughs. He drank no alcohol all weekend, and I'm not even kidding you. He drank nothing.
Whoa.
No, seriously. And Korean barbecue, everyone has beer, everyone's having a good time, and I'm like, one beer, and he's like, no, I have no beer, and he just literally sat there drinking water. He ate minimal amounts of food so he wouldn't get upset stomach. He was a total pro all weekend. It was great.
I call bullshit on that.
I know, right? But
Happened, apparently.
yeah, true story and all that.
But he said he was going to retire, so it's now or never. Like if he wants to
That's a true point.
retire, if he wants to retire without any regrets, he needs to give it all to the last few tournaments that he's going to be playing in now. Imagine he just messes around, and imagine the way he's going to be looking back at the end of his career as how he will be remembered.
Yeah,
that's very important.
I think that's part of it, but I think it's more mercenary as well. I mean, I'm not going to beat about the bush. He wants more money. I mean, the more money he gets, the less grief he has getting through university. It's always been that way for him for the last 2 years. He was going to retire 2 years ago when he wanted to go back to uni. Last year, before he joined EG, he was about to retire and go back to uni. And now a year on, he's going to do the same thing. I mean, someone else asked me if it's a bargaining chip with EG to get more money out of them. To sign him on for another year, but I don't think he would be like that, and I don't know. I think more of him than that.
Yeah,
I think
I'm the same way.
I think he's an honourable guy. I think if he wants to retire, he'll retire. If EG come back in with a big offer, then he'll have to consider it. But I don't think he's trying to use it as leverage in any way.
Yeah, I don't.
I could be completely and hopelessly wrong because I don't actually know. But it doesn't strike me that he would be like that.
I don't think he's like that at all either. I think that if someone makes him an offer for more money that entices him, he'll stick around. But we've talked about that before on the show, so I don't want to revisit it too much.
Sure.
But kind of the last thing, unless you guys do want to add anything else for WCS EU, is what's next? You know, you guys started off the tournament, and obviously everything was rushed. The announcement hit days before you guys went live, and kind of every step of the way, there were improvements on improvements on improvements. You guys now have a little less than a month to prepare for the next season, and this might be more directed at Paul than Todd or Kaelaris, but what is next? What are you guys looking to add to kind of make things even better than they already are?
I don't want to talk about specifics because it's not really my bag now. Season 1 was very much about hitting the ground running as soon as we got the announcement. As you're right, it was a very short. There was a short run up to it. We had a lot of work to do very early on, and we made some mistakes, and we corrected them as we went along. It was very much a babysitting exercise. I don't want to belittle it, but it was very much a babysitting exercise by a number of us at ESL, which included myself. It included David Kugelman, included Carmack, and included a whole load of other people in the production units as well. But for Season 2, we're now set. We've brought in Kenneget from Team Liquid, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. So he will work with David Kugelman, and those two will now push WCS Season 2 to the absolute limit. And the aim for us is to deliver, better than we did this season at every single round, so that you can see it season by season. We're improving, and there's still a lot to do. So I think you can expect more of the same, but better.
Todd, Kaelaris, you guys going to be returning? I would assume you'll both be there.
I guess so. Yeah.
I
think-
Todd, you're playing in it, so how does that work for you?
I can tell you, Kaelaris is definitely there because he works for us directly. As for anyone else, we haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I think a month though is a godsend though for us. Like in comparison to the amount of time that we had to prepare Season 1 and Season 2, if we have a month to do that, that's going to be good.
Todd,
do you think the sun will be on this time?
What? Sorry?
You think the sun will be on this time?
The song?
Yeah. Just making a joke because Kaelaris was the one using the mixer in the first recast.
Dude, don't start.
Paul, can you confirm at this moment that Kaelaris will no longer be doing the audio mixing?
He can't.
I would like to say he won't be, but I don't know what setup we've got for the round of 32 yet. So it might well be that we have to
hard-hitting questions here.
But what I can promise you is this: that if he has to do the audio again, if he screws it up again, I will bend his fingers or super glue them.
I've got a lot to
super
do,
glue them.
man.
I will super glue them to the mixer, okay, so that he actually goes, "Oh, I can't do anything other than that." I don't know. I don't know what we do about fixing him. He's just broken.
He's a broken man.
Thanks.
Very true.
And about me casting,
Sure.
I've expressed my wish to cast, but it might be difficult because I'm playing as well. Like how
How
would
do
you
you do
manage
that?
this exactly? So I don't know. Personally, I thought I could cast all games, even my group, except for my games. So every time I have to play, I go to the studio and then I play. So my limit will be casting and commentating at the same time. That I can do, but everything else I can do. Even the group, my group games, I can cast except my own games.
You see, Todd, I'm disappointed now. One of our new features next season was going to be, players casting their games live.
Amazing.
Damn it!
So yeah, no, it all depends on Paul if he wants to have me. It's not that easy, also I know, because there might be some other casters involved. So yeah, but personally, I would like to cast. Then is it convenient for one of the players who's playing in the tournament to cast as well? I don't know. We need to figure things out, I guess.
Yeah, no, Todd's right. I mean, I don't want to say anything because it's not actually decided yet, and there's a lot of conversation with people internally at ESL to decide what we do for next season. But we were super happy with our commentary team from season one. I think Todd did a terrific job of coming in. Got a lot of flack early on before he came in as someone there. People were questioning why did we choose Todd. We felt the chemistry with him and Kaelaris was going to be really good, and I'm really pleased that it worked out. But that's not our benefit. That's because those two guys worked their asses off to make it really work really well. And likewise for the guy that isn't here, Apollo. Came in brilliantly professional, put in hard graft, great preparation, pulled off some amazing commentaries yet again. So we couldn't have been any more happier than we were with the three casters that we had for this event.
I guess one of the most unique things that you guys had going for you that really no other WCS event does, except for, I guess, WCS Korea, is that you guys had a live audience. Is that something that's going to continue through to the next season,
Yeah.
you think?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
For
Just
sure.
wanted a quick confirmation on that. So I think we're going to take a quick 3-minute break. We do have WCS US finals to talk about coming up this weekend as the brackets have been posted for that. A lot of different storylines going into that. WCS Korean finals are going on. We're going to obviously talk about Todd's blog that he posted recently, since that was a good bit of news, and of course some other small stuff here in State of the Game. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. We've got probably about another hour or so of the show left. We'll see you guys in about 3 minutes.